Students, unless you're heading for a different session at a different venue, please stay put. We're expecting a moderator to join just in a moment. He just stepped out. The stage is all set. Meanwhile, let me check with you something. All those of you who've been here on all the 4 days of the summit, do you notice anything different about the stage today? Anybody? Something has changed on the stage on day 5. What's it? I have been a fixture. I have been here all 5 days, so that's not me. What else? Something else on the stage. Anybody who has noticed and would like to answer? Yes, I see a hand up there, yes. You might not get a microphone, but shout. Yes, we have smart teapoys here today. Did anybody else notice it? What's your name? Akhila? And what's your program? Which course are you doing? Global Studies. Oh, you're the apt audience for our next session. Global Studies student Akhila has noticed that, and I hope at least some more students noticed that. We had some bulky wooden teapoys until yesterday, and today we have transitioned into smart teapoys here. Even at the Summit of Future 2025, we are continuously reinventing and innovating ourselves. So thank you for noticing that, Akhila. All right, our moderator is on his way. Should I bring our speakers on stage then? What do you say? Yeah? All right, let's do that. Okay, since I already told you about one of our speakers here, who was the right person to add perspectives to the earlier question that our student asked. Shri Anoop Ambika is the Chief Executive Officer of Kerala Startup Mission, and he's a serial entrepreneur and technology enthusiast himself. Hearty welcome on the stage, sir. It was heartening to see how questions ignited by the first session naturally transitions into the second session and our speakers. It only elucidates the fact that we have all worthy, connected speakers who can add to your perspectives. He leads the development of AI-driven decision sciences products and services at Kerala Startup Mission. He has a strong background in data sciences. On stage next, our next panelist, Shri Binu Sankar. He's a key member of Ernst & Young's Global Delivery Services India Location Leadership. He's a director. Welcome, sir. And his leadership spans across industry, academia, government initiatives, and he also focuses on community development. On stage next is Mr. Sabu Narayanan. He's the Chief International Operations Officer at UST Health Proof. He has over 30 years of experience in managing complex global operations. He's a visionary leader, and he excels in delivery, operations, large-scale deal management. You name it, and you have it on his resume. Now, delighted to present to you our final panelist, Chartered Accountant K.R. Bijimon. Hearty welcome, sir. He's a financial wizard with 29 years of experience and counting, and he's the Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer of Muthoot Finance, and he oversees operations, credit, internal audit, marketing, IT, and so much more at Muthoot Group, and he's also on the director board of various Muthoot institutions. Our moderator is expected to join us. Oh, you're here. Sorry about that. Dr. Dinesh Nilkanth, Pro Vice Chancellor at Jain University, Bangalore. He's a noted TEDx speaker as well, someone with 25 plus years of experience in shaping education with practical relevance. Over to you, Dr. Dinesh.
Okay, so first of all, good morning to one and all. Let me first appreciate the efforts of the Jain University Kochi team for putting such a wonderful event. I can see the enthusiasm of the faculty. I can see the enthusiasm of the students. And it's a wonderful atmosphere. Okay, thanks to Tom, Lata ma'am, Madhu Kumar sir, and I think Simi, Monu, and Sharanya. Okay, so let us come to the topic now. The topic given to us was that is, how are we going to tackle entrepreneurship with the global challenges? So, when I was thinking about the topic, I thought that I should share something with you, and then we will introduce the panel members and then take their views, and then we will have a discussion. So this is how the entire episode will be. I remember one guy called Bankar Roy. Bankar Roy was a well-educated guy, and he comes from Calcutta. What he did was something very amazing, and I thought I should share this with you. He started women empowerment program, and in this program what he did was that he started teaching the women without a degree and named this college as Barefoot College. Now the concept was that there was no degree, there was nobody certifying anything, but look at the charm of it. And the charm was that he started teaching them skills, and with that skills they started making money. This is education. And where you found that Bankar Roy today became one of the biggest name with that name called Barefoot College. Today I am just thinking that with all the sustainable development goals, innovation, entrepreneurship, everything we are talking, but somebody is actually doing. And then the thought came of entrepreneurship. I'm making this statement with my exceptions. Today I'm not getting one thing, and I think the CEO of Karnataka Startup Mission is here. And he is going to listen to this, and I don't know how he's going to respond to it. When I say that entrepreneurship as a field, when it has 95% of failures and only 5% success, then why today the entire world is towards startup and entrepreneurship and motivating students to become entrepreneurs, when we know that there is a 95% guaranteed failure, and when all of us have been taught right from day one, when there is a failure, we are away from it. But then why is that we are having so much of discussion towards it, where we are telling each and every one that why are you not thinking entrepreneurial? A very, very interesting topic to discuss. Today we have a finance legend, we have a CEO, and then there are so many people who are going to discuss this. And then the third thought which came to my mind was that we have global challenges. So whenever a product comes in, first of all, world being a small place, we are talking about cultural differences, we are talking about cyber security, we are talking about regulatory things, we are talking about how are we going to do the logistics, we are talking about technological disruptions. First of all, my concern is that as a small entrepreneur, do I have the capacity to handle this? And who is going to give me that capacity, or who is going to build that capacity in me where I can handle this? Let's discuss. So this is what is the topic which I have in my mind, and I'm sure that we'll get answers. Let me introduce the panelists to all of you. We have Mr. Anoop Ambika, the CEO of Kerala Startup Mission. First of all, thank you, sir, for being here in spite of your busy schedule. The moment somebody says that CEO of startup, all the students are thinking, ye paisa dega. That is what it is, because a student asked a very relevant question, that where I'll get my money. That was the question he asked. And at that point of time, earlier it was a question that what we should do, but nowadays, let me tell you, right from the central government till the state governments, everybody has thought on this, and they have definitely taken some steps which you should know. By only sitting in the auditorium and saying that who is going to give me money, nobody will give you any money. But then when you are putting efforts to it and your idea is an idea where you add value to it, and when it becomes visible, then your idea is going to flourish, provided it is not copied from anywhere. So that is the idea when you are going to present in front of the people, which is going to be a solution for people, which is going to be the solution for the industry, which is going to be a solution for the society. If you are coming out with such type of idea, then that idea works. Otherwise, that idea doesn't work. So here is Anoop Ambika sir, a serial entrepreneur and a technology enthusiast, leads the Kerala Startup Mission, previously served as the CEO of Grempro Research and Cognitive Decision Solutions, expertise in AI-driven decision-making, data sciences and technology entrepreneurship. Thank you sir for being here. Come on guys, you have to clap. You are Jain University Kochi campus. Dikha do jara. Okay. Mr. Binu Sankar, okay, GDS EY Director at EY. Binu sir, thank you very much for being here. Yeah. A key member of EY, GDS India's location leadership with 22 years of experience. You have a guy of EY here. Trust me. The guys who will look into the feasibility so easily and so nicely. So you can ask all those questions on your feasibility. Okay, a key member and specializes in strategy, program management and ecosystem, former CEO of GTech Kerala's Technology Consortium and an advocate for operational excellence, leads impact-driven projects aligned with ESG. Thank you, sir, for being here. Mr. Sabu Narayanan, CEO International UST Global, brings 30 years of experience in managing complex global operations, a visionary leader in business transformation, consulting and delivery, leads digital transformation initiatives across industries, aligning technology with business objectives, focuses on AI-driven solutions in healthcare, finance, and retail, fostering efficiency and sustainability. A thorough package who is going to tell you whether entrepreneurship works or not. So here is Sabu Narayanan. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now we have a very interesting personality, and the guy who finally decides whether I should give you money or not is the CA. He is sitting there. K.R. Bijimon is the Executive Director and CEO of Muthoot Finance Limited. He's been recognized as the new age icon, trendsetter, and he has been instrumental in making Muthoot Finance India's #1 gold loan NBFC. Has 29 years of experience and as a key note, he is a key person in expanding Muthoot Group operations to USA, UK, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. Thank you, sir, for being here. Okay. Now, guys, we have a perfect team in front of us, and I'm going to shoot some questions. But before that, I request each one of them to express their few opinions to all of you, and then we'll start the discussion. So, are we done? Are we clear? Yes, no? Good. Over to you, sir. So, first, I will call upon Anoop, sir. Please.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity for being here and talking to you guys. The thundering applause that we got itself is a proportional indication of the interest that the audience has about the subject. But I'll try to make it as interesting as possible. There was a question. I don't know what was that question that came in the previous panel.
He was asking about how he is going to get finances out of support for.
Was that finances? Did he mention finances, or what is the person here?
What does he do? How can he start if he has an idea?
Okay, so I think that was the question. I have an idea which I want to convert into an enterprise, and what do I do? Like sir rightly said, if it was 20 years back, you would be pretty much stuck with the 3 Fs, which is the friends, family, and fools. Which means I go back to my friends and say, please, I have this idea, give us some money, I'll be able to start a company. I have family, I have a rich dad or a poor dad, go and, or rich mom and a poor mom, I ask him or her, please give me some money, let me start. And the third one are the foolish people around you. You try to, somehow compel them to write a check. But today, there is an opportunity for you to actually apply for a grant for supporting the early innovations. And nobody will support an early innovation. I come and say, I have this idea of building ChatGPT 20 years back. Nobody would believe you. Nobody would think that it was even possible. So somebody need to give you the money to start working on the compute, the resources, etc. And that works in the form of innovation grants from the government. So I'll tell you a little bit about that so that you're all aware of it. There is a idea grant which goes all the way up to 3 lakhs, which is a small amount of money in this world. We are trying to get it to at least 5 lakhs. So if you're able to convince your idea to an expert committee, then they will be willing to give you 5 lakhs for just starting off and building a prototype. That will be the first step. For that, you need to go and apply in what is called grants.startupmission.in. The second step would be, okay, I have tried it, looks like it works. And if there is a product market fit, which is a very tricky word, I'll come to it when I talk about it, maybe a second term or something like that. If you can establish a product market fit for this particular product, then you will get a grant up to 15 lakhs, which we call a scale-up grant, to build it and take it to market. We are trying to increase that to 25 lakhs. In addition to that, central government offers a lot of funds through Nidhi Prayas schemes, Startup India Seed Fund, DST funds, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology. All these departments have got individual grants that you can access to. And why I'm focusing on this is these are all grants. You don't need to repay this money back. So a scientist in CMET, which is a Center for Material Sciences that is based out of Trichur, she was addressing a list of women researchers, Dr. Seema. She was saying that you could get as big as 1 crore in grants if you properly place your product so that you can build your product and take it to market. So that is the first thing that you should do, is to answer the boys or gentleman's question, is explore the grants that are available. There are plenty. Search for it. There are, we publish a list of grants. There are other incubators which publish a list of grants, and try to apply for those grants and try to get those grants, which will be the first step of validation of your idea. And sir, you were asking how do we, it's about the challenges, or should we talk about it now? Or
Later we will.
Later we'll.
Later.
So I'll stop here. That first step is to get access to those grants, understanding about that grants, and apply for those grants.
Can one small session can be arranged for all the students that something like this is done by KSUM, and that will be an added advantage for the students?
We can definitely do that. We have people here in Kochi itself. So if you let us know, we can have a larger session wherein people can be sensitized about.
Thank you so much, sir. We will definitely follow it up. Now, this is how you get results when you are talking to the bosses. Okay. So next is Binu Sankar. And sir, I want you to just introduce the topic. And
Yeah, first of all, thanks for this opportunity to be here today with the Jain University. I saw a list of speakers, fantastic sessions, and very happy to be part of a privileged panel here. So, as Anoop mentioned, in Kerala, for example, if you look at the Kerala ecosystem, there is a close connect between the industry, the startups, the academic institutions, the innovation, the community, the tech community. So, as an organization, as an industry, for the last 20 years, I was associated with the Kerala Startup Mission. Fabulous work they're doing on the ground, especially on the topic of impact entrepreneurs. So we jointly did a lot of programs around social challenges. For example, 2 years back, we did a climathon, an event where one of the ideas was the industry as such collaborated with KSUM to bring out problem statements in the ESG space, and then we were looking at problem solving, like getting good technology solutions from the community, and fabulous. I mean, so the kind of innovation they presented, the kind of um, um, game-changing thoughts they presented was fabulous. One of the things which I always say is there's a lot of passion in the community to solve problem statements. So in many cases, we work for 30 years, and then one day we'll say, okay, we'll go and do a social entrepreneurship, trying to solve a pertinent social problem. But in the KSUM ecosystem, or the largest student community ecosystem in Kerala, what I observed is students at a very young age, on the third year, second year of their a BTech or a BSc or a BCom, they are thinking of solving some of those problem statements, socially relevant problem statements, trying to create value add for the economy and for the larger community. So that's something which we as an institution should
Binu
tap
sir,
into.
one small question is that, do you have a framework which can be given to general public also to understand that when we are tackling some challenges out of entrepreneurship, can a framework come in out of ENY and say that, okay, this is the framework, where you find that when you look into the feasibility, it becomes a little bit easy for the students?
Yeah, so I'm not talking from an EY perspective, more from how industry collaborate to solve a problem statement. So that's what I'm saying. So here this community is very aligned. So every tier two, I'm sure that you would have noticed, so there is a lot of collaboration happening between a tier 2 community. Even it's the same in Coimbatore, it's in Indore, it's in Visakhapatnam, it's in Kerala, in Trivandrum and Kochi. So what I'm saying is, whenever we do an event, for example, UST Global, we collaborate a lot in terms of with NASCOM, with TIE, with the Kerala Startup Mission. There's a conducive environment for us to solve some of those problems, and Kerala gives you that right enablement and right ecosystem to do it. So what I'm saying is, Jain University or any other ecosystem wants to plug in, this is an easily available ecosystem which we need to tap in. And
Great.
probably we should think of how do you take this to the next level altogether.
Great, sir, great. Sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Sabu, your views on the topic. Thank you, Binu sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's a privilege to be part of this panel. And when we talk about entrepreneurship for tackling global challenges, the first thing I want to tell about is the company that I represent, UST. We ourselves were a startup 25 years ago with 14 people. And today, we are a 30,000 plus company. And there were a lot of adversities when this organization has started. But the true entrepreneurial spirit of the founders of that company has taken us where we are today. So the key thing that I want to call out is, the world is our stage. It's a company from Trivandrum that has done a lot of things across the globe. And I want to tell you about how technology entrepreneurs can leverage to tackle global challenges with an example. So I work for a healthcare product and platform group also. So one of the challenges that we were trying to solve for our customers in the US, this is medical insurance companies, is to capture the medical codes that are documented in the medical charts. When you go to a hospital, there'll be a lot of things that the doctor scribbles down or maybe typed in. So there is some information that is captured in the chart. And with the advancement in technology like AI, it has become easier to do that capturing and converting that into an electronic format. So we looked at different organizations, startups. There are a lot of startups across the world that tries to solve this problem. And we looked at startups from the US. Silicon Valley, is known for a lot of innovative things, and the world thinks Silicon Valley drives innovation. Israel is another place that you see a lot of innovative things comes out. And obviously, we know, being in India, we know there are a lot of things happening in India. So we went to startups in US, Israel, and one small company in Chennai. And ultimately, we selected the solution from that company in Chennai. And that is not purely because of the solution alone, but it's also about the unique advantage we have. That's our cost advantage, which is exactly what demonstrated by the DeepSeek, which is challenging OpenAI now. When you have constraints, I think Anoop sir talked about the funding and the limited amount of funding. When you have constraints, you will figure out a way. That's our nature. We will figure out a way to solve that problem within that constraints. And I strongly believe it's the era of India, and we have a lot of opportunities, and seize the day. That's all I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the next and the last panelist who is going to give his views is CAKR Bijimon, the Executive Director of Muthoot.
Good morning to all. Yes, of course, I don't represent a company which is a startup, but as Binu sir said, this Muthoot also was a startup once upon a time. It was started. It's a 1887 started company. It's a very long legacy is there, but it is of course an entrepreneurial journey, and finally today it has turned out to be a very large conglomerate from South India, and that's the stage. But as entrepreneurial journey is always required in not in starting of the company, at any stage of the company. It's actually what is an entrepreneur does. He does identify a problem or a gap in the society, or a need in the society, or an aspiration of the society, and finally trying to bridge that gap through his service. So that way, entrepreneurial mindset is actually to be developed, rather than a startup and entrepreneurial startup is there. Thereafter, you can't leave that mindset. If you have that, when you are throughout your journey, you have to have that entrepreneurial mindset. An entrepreneur will always face challenges. Actually, solving those challenges is the job of the entrepreneur. Then only you are an entrepreneur itself. Always, the company always, my previous chairman used to tell me, you have to be a singing chirp or a chirping or singing chirp in a windy tree. Malayalamil adannoru idundu. Endu aadunna kombile paadunna kiliyavanam. Then only you are. So challenges will come. You have to face this. There is only, maybe again, I have been taught that you have to take your challenges, handle it. There will be bigger challenges and smaller challenges. With equal passion, you handle it and you will survive. I think challenges are there. When you are going global also, you will have to adapt to those markets, and finally you have to survive. As a company, we went there to UK, US, Sri Lanka, Nepal, UAE, all those places. The Muthoot product is successful. It's not again. Entrepreneurship is not finding an iPad or a ChatGPT or etc. In your common things also entrepreneurship is involved. It's actually taking that common thing, whether a small thing, perfecting that and scaling it up. That's what an entrepreneur is wanted to do. I think we did that, and it's basically a mindset. It's not a one-time affair. That's what I
Thank you.
say.
Thank you so much. Very well said. He has spoken about challenges, and today, if it is not challenging you, it is not going to change you. So let us have challenges, then only we can change. Okay, the first general question to all of you, all four of you, is what is the biggest global challenge today an entrepreneur is facing? Any one of you can address this. Biggest global challenge which an entrepreneur is facing.
Global challenge. Sir, I'll take one moment because
Please,
I was
sir,
thinking about.
please. Pleasure, sir, please.
You also mentioned that out of the 100 companies, 95 failed. That is what I was trying to think. You had another mention. And only 5% succeed. Actually,
Yes.
1% is the worldwide statistic.
Yes.
Only 1% out of 100 companies, only one company makes it big. Still, why do you want to venture into entrepreneurship? It's a question that parents ask. It's a question that society used to ask before. And I keep telling that, entrepreneurship is probably the best method to ethically make money a lot of money. If you are looking at creating wealth, creating an impact, and creating a lot of jobs in the society, and many youngsters that I talk to keep telling about this. They want all the luxuries of life. They want to create a large lasting impact, and they want to be known for the legacy that they create. And I would say entrepreneurship is probably the best way to do that impact. And that is why you venture into entrepreneurship. Now, what happens to all the people that fail? Fail is a very, very negative connotation, I would say. I mean, my theory is that no entrepreneur fails unless you get emotionally attached to your idea, right? You can stop at the right time, exit, you would still learn a lot of things which no other job in the world is going to teach you. Because the challenges that you will face, the kind of jobs that you will do as an entrepreneur is amazingly vivid. The kind of experience that you will add or the skill sets that you will add to your resume is amazingly vivid, that you will be very, very, very valuable for any large organization in the world. That is how I would like to see it.
You mean to say the process is more important rather than the end
process
result?
of creating something, creating an organization, creating resources, that becomes important. Somebody,
agree. Yes.
somebody asked that question of how do I start? The very process starts from there, right? Now you go and ask your father, can you give me a check of 1 lakh rupees? I want to try this. And father says, no way I'm going to give that money. The challenge starts there. So you have to convince, starting from your household all the way up to the large investors of the world. And that is not an easy task. It's a tremendous value that you add to your resume. Now I'll come back to your question, and I'll be short because I've already taken time. You were asking about what is the challenge that entrepreneurs are facing now?
Global challenge.
Global challenge. So the global challenge that entrepreneurs are facing now is the speed at which the technology is changing, right? So I will start a construction company. I'm just giving you an example. And I've got, let's say, invested 100 crores into creating a construction company. Tomorrow, there might be a technology that will come in and completely disrupt the way in which buildings are made. And all my business model might be gone for a toss. It has happened to multiple people, right? 3D printed or prefabricated buildings are going to be a reality. Right? Along with that, you have this sustainability challenge, which means that you don't have all the resources in the world. So if the food is not going to be plenty, the construction materials are not going to be plenty, air, water is not going to be plenty. So you will have the challenge of running your organization with the limited amount of resources that will be available in the world in an ever-changing technological landscape. And that is going to be the biggest challenge that an entrepreneur is going to face, because there is no long cycles of traditional business models existing anymore. It is an ever-changing landscape.
So let us take this question. I think everybody will have the same type of question, but can we have an answer for this? So what is the answer for because this is going to be a nagging question for all the entrepreneurs tomorrow. So what can be done for this? Can anybody throw light on that?
Yeah, probably I'll take a shot at that. So while Anoop sir was talking about the disruption that's happening in the technology landscape, which is a reality, it's also important that people do take a long-term view. There is a short-term. What is the kind of problem that you are solving? It's the purpose of your business. Maybe the way you are solving that problem could be different. But the bigger question of why are we solving that problem? If you look at the purpose of your business and stay focused on that, there will be ups and downs as part of this entrepreneurial journey. But as you are convinced about solving a problem, especially if it's for the purpose of making this world a better place to live, and obviously you will make money as part of that. But if you stay focused on that, I would think that's one of the many things that you can do to solve that problem.
From your point of view, from a chartered accountant
like to add,
point of
not from the chartered accountant angle, but the same thing. If your focus is there, It's actually today's businesses have changed. You can't decide a path and then reach the destination. It has to be something like you are on a Google map to drive to some place. Actually, challenges will come. Google will reroute. Actually, that rerouting would be required on a daily basis in any business. Whether your strategy is working, if not, what else I can do to reroute ultimately so that I reach the destination. So sometimes that rerouting works better for you because a better technology has come, and that's the way that you can't set a vision for 10 years. You will never reach there. Every day and night you have to review whether things are happening the way you wanted. If not, what is the solution available, and change it. And finally, the success of any institution will depend upon the challenges you have handled. If you are not able to handle thousands or lakhs of challenges, then you are. So if you have handled 1,000 challenges, then you are a better entrepreneur, the better person, and your business is success. If you are failing on the first challenge, then you have failed. That's why 95% businesses are failing. One other reason also, entrepreneurs normally think that, okay, I'm just doing it, and then I need to buy some assets and acquire some liabilities. We have a basic misunderstanding. As a chartered accountant, we all think that a company or a startup has acquired an asset means maybe the entrepreneur has built a house, he has bought a Benz car, he thinks that that's an asset. An asset should actually be defined as something which is earning for the company. The moment you are investing into a car, you are actually building a liability, but we call it an asset, isn't it? I think that kind of, what is generating revenue for the business is to be called an asset. The moment, in that parlance, maybe an entrepreneur should avoid building a house for some time, should avoid building a big car for some time. That's the basic misnomer we also.
So as a chartered accountant, can you tell us that in this particular scenario, doing a business with borrowings and showing the business in losses and then doing the business, is the safe version of doing business?
I don't, nothing. If you have a vision and if you see that, okay, in the second year, I'm going to break even and I'm going to make money, no problem. But at the same time, make sure that your borrowed money is not going into a liability, like a car, like a huge building, etc. in the initial years. I think that's the...
But as an entrepreneur, when an entrepreneur starts doing his business, for the first 5 years, I don't think so that he is looking into money. It becomes so difficult for him to even manage his business to the extent of 5 years, even if he is having a good sustainable idea.
Of course, the ideas again, some people think that let me put in a lot of money and then thereafter I can make money.
So that lot of money comes from where, sir?
No. Some people think like that. Then they borrow heavily. But by the time they market the product, the scenario would have changed. Their idea may not. So always think of whether we can match your revenue with your expenses as far as possible and then move forward.
Okay, one question for Ambika sir is that, so everybody talks about impactful entrepreneurship. Everybody talks about sustainable development goals, and then they follow the United Nations frameworks, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals framework. But when it comes to actually doing the business from your point of view, and when people start making money, and then you say that it has to be based on sustainability. So how do you finance such things? How do you look into the ideas of such people who are coming to you and saying that this is my idea, and then how do you tell them that, okay, this has to be impactful?
All ideas need not be about sustainable development goals. Let me just clarify that. It can be a simple idea like a ticket booking solution or a queue management solution. But there is a large market that is being developed for sustainability as we speak. I'll tell you why. Because the biggest corporations of the world, if you look at the hotels, right, the Marriotts, the Taj, the Leela, everybody has got a target of sustainability. If you go to the Goa Leela, the air condition will automatically switch off after some time. And whether you like it or not, whether you put it in auto climate control or not, they have tuned their air conditioning system in such a way that the energy is utilized in an optimal fashion. Most of these five-star hotels have started using biodegradable material, right? And there is a certain amount of investment that is set aside by the large investors, PE funds, venture capitalists, to say that, you know, this product has to abide with a certain amount of sustainability. So I'll give you an example. A simple plastic bottle of water, probably if purchased in larger bulk, will cost you around 8 rupees. Larger bulk, right? You're doing a conference like this. And if you need to actually have a sustainable bottle, which will be a biodegradable bottle, or, you know, serve it in something like this, which can be reused, the cost is going to be probably double. But the world is willing to bear that cost now, right? So there is money that is being set aside to absorb that cost, and as smart entrepreneurs, we should look at that opportunity, wherein how do you optimize your energy? How do you make sure that the plastics are not going into the ocean and to the soil? How do you produce organic food? You know, because look at it this way: the long-term cost of managing the perils that will happen out of this unreasonable usage of plastic and energy and all that stuff is going to be much bigger if we don't control it right. I mean, we are already late, but I think we need to control it right now.
A little bit of research can make a difference.
Absolutely. And, you know, there are good companies. I'll give you an example. When you go on the train, right, you are usually served with tea. And if you look at the glass in which that tea is served, there is a small plastic coating inside, which is what makes it hold that tea. Otherwise, the paper will wither off, right? That is plastic. And since that is the plastic coating, it is not going to be biodegradable. So a company has gone ahead and created an organic coating, which can be used instead of the plastic coating. And they have secured the contracts with the Vande Bharat trains across the country. Just imagine a small innovation, the kind of market that it has created. And such opportunities exist around you. And, you know, the latest yesterday I was listening to something. Enron, which is a large energy company, has created something like an egg, which is a mini nuclear reactor that you can keep in your home and will power the entire home for the generation. Of course, nuclear reactor is something that you don't want at your home, but still, yeah, even if it is small, it can create a lot of, but just imagine that is how the world is going towards.
Okay.
So opportunities are huge in the sustainability industry.
Anybody wants to?
No, I totally agree with what Anoop was saying, and other speakers were talking about the same, but a lot of these entrepreneurs are getting, for example, I was at the NASSCOM Future Forge in Bangalore.
Mic little bit on.
Yeah, I was at the NASSCOM Future Forge. So I saw a lot of these innovation in the sustainability space, right? Carbon storage solutions. And then, interestingly, I met with a person called Dr. Srikanth Sola who runs a company called Devik Earth. So he is creating air purifiers which can purify, 5 to 6 kilometers in a city. So a lot of these innovations are happening, and all these are tech professionals who have worked in, for example, in 10 or 15 years in the industry are moving to solve some of these sustainability solutions. So a lot of these entrepreneurship are coming up in that space. Yeah.
Okay, my next question to all of you will be like, we're talking about the technological disruptions, how AI is taking over everything, and we have today 100 tools which are telling us to do so many things. When it comes to entrepreneurship, definitely there are a lot of tools which people are following it. But then, how do you think that is going to shape the future of entrepreneurs from the AI point of view? Anybody?
Yeah, let me take a stab at that. So, as I was saying initially, AI is actually redefining a lot of things that we are doing. So, AI is not new in that sense. I started my career 30 years back, and one of the interview questions in that campus placement program was about AI. And nothing much happened until November 2022, where this OpenAI introduced ChatGPT. There onwards, we saw a lot of use cases, a lot of opportunities, and there were a lot of threats about what AI can do to humanity. And we as an organization has done a lot of proof of concepts, many projects, but not really has taken on to the level that it was, the expectation was set. But then this week, and one of the reasons, there were two reasons in my mind. One is the cost of running it. Because training a model, building a model for your own use case, and then running it, it is going to be costly, and it's not going to be environmentally friendly either. And the other thing is about data security concerns, governance concerns, ethical concerns, and there are a lot of those challenges were there. And then what happened last week is this announcement of Chinese company, the DeepSeek, and yesterday Alibaba came up and said they have a better solution, which is at a very small fraction of the cost of what OpenAI or ChatGPT produces. So it addresses that first problem of the cost, but it still doesn't address, and the computing infrastructure that was required for this was also lower, so it addresses to some extent that environmental issue also, but it still doesn't address the data issue. That doesn't mean AI will not take away a lot of things that we see as today. There will be a lot of advancements that will happen in AI. There will be a lot of challenges or friction between human beings and AI. But I believe that AI can only get better with human intervention. So AI can be more of a tool that humans will use to make the world a better place. And I'll just give one example of where AI is being used for a transformative impact. We are associated with the pharmaceutical company. These big pharmas, finding a drug is a lengthy process, pretty expensive process, and that's one of the reasons why you see there are no medicine or no cure available for some of the diseases that does not have a lot of spread, if I may say so. So it can take anywhere between 3 to 5 years to bring a drug to the market, and can cost millions, if not billions. And that includes the process of identifying a target and then finding a solution for that and then doing a clinical trial, a lot of data crunching, a lot of these things are there. Now, AI has brought in the ability to simulate a lot of those things and crunch the timelines. So you'll see some of the companies that are based out of India entering into this space and now helping a lot of these big pharma companies to reduce the timeline and the effort and ultimately the cost of that identifying the drug. So that is something that has a transformative impact that AI can bring, in my opinion.
Okay, one question is, when the product goes beyond the borders, or we can talk about the global challenges where you're trying to say that your product becomes a unicorn. And when we have these global challenges like cybersecurity or regulatory problems, you have cultural differences, and you have those logistics disruptions and all that. So is there any mechanism where we have some type of framework where we can handle ourselves for these type of situations which are going to come further? Where you find that tomorrow if a product, maybe from the audience, if somebody comes up and says that his product has become a unicorn, but he doesn't know how to handle, because the moment it goes beyond the borders, things change. So is there a mechanism which can be created for these unicorns to understand that what can be done?
Of course, beyond going borders means we have to be regulatory compliant in those countries. That's the first thing you have to keep in mind. You can't break the laws going outside a country. But you have a big advantage of you have the leverage of the cost of the people, because something which you are doing there will deliver more value, say. But finally, the service is rendered from here itself. That was the cost advantage, was the cost leverage, was the basic thing which was working. But today, some of the things which were required to be done, say in our US office, many of things are getting, because you're using some AI things, many of the, say for example, surveillance. Actually, we have so many branches in US. Actually, the whole surveillance, all the service, Actually, even the branch in US is opened from the Cochin back office. And the strong room there in US is actually operated from here. Actually, the technology enables us to bring a lot more leverage to our advantage. So I think changes will come, but how do we just think, how do we use it to our advantage in a positive way rather than resisting? Resisting is not going to work anyway. I think use those things. Of course, you never break the law of those countries. And beyond that, it's finally, any business is what is, it's leveraging. How do you use an advantage, a small pressure, and generate or move a bigger? It's coming from the word lever, is it not? So, like that, how do we leverage from the AI? That should be the thought, and that will work in your favor. So, I think look for the positive. That's what I would say. Thank you.
Okay, now one question for all of you is that if at all a question is being asked that how do you look at the future of entrepreneurship from here onwards? From here onwards, from 2025, where we have been grappled with AI, we have been grappled with all the technological disruptions. And then when you look into the financial stability, it's not that great in any country now. And the way the geopolitical situations are happening. So how do you look future of entrepreneur from today? I think all of you can put your views, and then I will conclude it.
So I think I see a lot of these unique startups, unique entrepreneurs coming up. So I think you will see a lot of these AI infused domain, as Anoop mentioned, AI is being used in multiple domains. So you'll see a lot of these entrepreneurship happening in the space.
Binu sir, one thing that whenever we are talking about, I'm sorry to cut you, but whenever we are talking about a startup, is it that everybody has in their mind it is a tech startup, or is it not something else other than that? Now you can answer.
Yeah.
Did I make it very
that is an answer that I usually give to everyone all the time. So there is a slight difference between what we call a startup and a small enterprise, right? At least to us, right? A small enterprise is somebody starts a grocery store, somebody else starts a grocery store. One person has got better interpersonal skills than the other, and that person succeeds, right? That is how it works. The business model is already existing. You are only trying to replicate that business model. In Kerala, I call it the STD syndrome. Because somebody started an STD booth, everybody started STD booth, and the whole state was filled with STD booths before you even know it. And nobody made big money, right? That is where the element of innovation is very important in startup. And I give several examples for that. But in one sentence, if you were to define startup, if you are disrupting a product, a process, or a business model, which will enable your company to serve a large number of customers. And in that process, create an illogical amount of wealth, then that company is called a startup. And an example is a COVID vaccine, which was a R&D effort that was done by AstraZeneca, which got, applied on all the people in the world pretty much, right? So the market was huge. Book my show. Before you will go to the theater and book your tickets, now you sit at the comfort of your home and book your tickets, and you cater to the entire nation. Getting a parcel, a food parcel to your home was a difficult task before. Now with a press of a button, in spite of which city you are in, you are able to actually get that food parcel. So all this has an element of tech. And tech is not necessarily information technology. It can be, biotechnology. It can be a new material that you create so that the drone becomes lighter and has got better battery time, right? So it can roam around for a very long time and shoot. So there are multiple areas in which you could bring that innovation into a certain product or a process or a business model so that it can serve a large amount of customers and create an illogical amount of wealth. That is what we call as a startup.
Great. He deserves a round of applause for this answer. Thank you so much, sir. So, Binu sir, you have to now answer the question which I asked you. because I interrupted you.
No, no,
So,
the
yeah,
same.
please go
Echoing
ahead.
the views of Anoop, I think, you'll see a lot of these entrepreneurs coming up, very passionate, solving a lot of these problems. So yesterday I was looking at one of the articles in MIT where talking about developing deep tech, AI technology to screen cancer patients. So I'm not sure Anoop will also confirm to that. So a lot of these AI is used in the biotech pharma industry where the drug discovery time has grown on. So a lot of these AI applications happening. So I see the next 15 years will be very exciting for entrepreneurship. But also on a lighter note, I just want to make a point that we only celebrate successes, but certain times there are a lot of people who have, in between lost their way in this entrepreneurship. So we'll have to, I'm sure that Anoop is seriously looking into it from a startup mission perspective, but that's some, because I've seen a lot of failures in people, coming down from Technopark itself. So I think that's some area which we need to focus because they have their passion, they attempted it, but again, giving them one more chance will enable that. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, please.
There, actually, entrepreneurs should think that there is no failure. There is only feedback. You correct it. Where do we correct and move forward? Because you are passionate on something means you have only feedback.
Failure is a banned word. You can say
failure is
like
a 95% fail doesn't mean that. 95% didn't have the ability to move that challenge and go beyond that challenge and take it forward. That's the way
I
we
think
should.
that is what Binu was saying. Society has to be kind to these people.
Yes.
You cannot just say that, oh, this person is a failure. You cannot do that.
Yes.
You have to give another chance
Very,
for this
very
boy.
true.
You know.
Very true. Very well said. I think they have already rang the bell twice and they have warned us and we are not getting that warning. So the organizer is now, she is with the mic and says, please shut up. Okay, thank you very much. It's over to you.
Check. In interest of time, I'm afraid we'll have to, not have the Q&A as well. Apologies for that. But quickly, let me bring on stage Professor J. Lata, our Pro Vice Chancellor, and Dr. K. Madhukumar, Joint Controller of Examinations, Jain University, to present mementos to our...
Before that, thank you very much. It was wonderful talking to all of you and hope all of you enjoyed. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Such a versatile lineup of expert speakers on stage and their experiences being brought forward. We'll start with Sri Anoop Ambika, Chief Executive Officer of Kerala Startup Mission. Sri Binu Shankar, Director, Ernst & Young. Mr. Sabu Narayanan, Chief International Operations Officer, UST Health Proof. Mr. K.R. Bijimon, Chartered Accountant and Executive Director and CEO of Muthoot Finance. And finally, Dr. Dinesh Nilkanth, the moderator of our session and Pro Vice Chancellor, Jain University, Bangalore. We request all of you to step up for a group photograph. There was an impactful panel discussion indeed on innovating for impact, on how entrepreneurs can tackle global challenges. Thank you. Thank you once again.